You're listening to the Tales from the Grip podcast. If you're gonna make a movie, then you need to get a grip.
Welcome to the Tales from the Grip podcast. This is your host, Mr. Green. My expert this week is Yossie Mulyadi. She's going to be sitting in with me to tell you all the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows of trying to get into the acting business and I guess outside of Atlanta, because you've done it outside of Atlanta as well.
Yes.
So you've got some expertise, both positive and negative, which is what a lot of the people that are stepping up into the business need to hear, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
No.
You know, and some people decide, hey, I'm going to be a movie star. It'll take me about a year and I'll be cashing in some $1 million checks and, stuff like that.
No.
No? Okay.
Opposite.
So we are going to go deep into that. And as normal, I know she didn't know that this was happening. We have random questions for her as well. So.
Cool.
Yes. Well, you have to have some fun while we're in here doing this thing. How have you been?
Good.
Yes, and I forgot to tell people that I actually have met you before this.
Yes. You reached out to me on Love to Act. I don't even know if that place exists.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Oh, sad.
It was a good site. I don't know why it didn't work.
I think Actors Actus took over pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Love to Act was a little bit more.
It was
affordable
for local. Was it
for local? Yeah, it was Love to Act Atlanta. It was a very local
yeah.
thing.
So it was just basically for Atlanta.
But Atlanta's it's a big enough community to have supported it.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm surprised it went down.
I am too. I mean, maybe whoever was running it just didn't get the money that they needed to keep that thing going. I'm assuming. But we did. I did reach out to you on Love to Act when it existed. And I got the chance to see you in your early phases of the act. And I'm going to apologize on camera to you right now. I'm sorry.
It was funny. It was a learning experience.
That I put you through.
I think I had just learned how to drive too.
You just learned how to. You didn't tell me that.
I didn't I could not. I was a new driver. It was weird because I got my license at 18. I didn't start driving until I was 18. So
why? I mean, because most people that tell me that, they're usually from up north. It's like, well, I didn't learn how to drive because I didn't have to.
No,
Here, you gotta.
Yeah, no, because I had just gotten a phone that had internet on it. And that's the reason why.
Just keep in mind, people, this is 7 years ago? So
yeah, I'll say 7 years ago.
So I just want them to paint the picture you telling me you just learned to drive and you just got a phone with it. So just keep in mind the time frame that this is taking place.
Yeah, no, it was just because I'd
been longer. Jeez.
That was the only reason I was able to do it was because my phone had GPS and I was like, I'm good. I don't even think it was. No, it was never mind. I actually had a GPS attached to it.
See,
so that worked. Yeah.
Keep in mind the time frame that this is taking place.
It's been a long road.
So I am going to refresh myself because I'm sure I asked you these things when I met you. But for the sake of the audience at large, let's get you introduced and all that good stuff. So let's start at the beginning. The acting bug. Why and how?
Why and how?
Why and how? Why? I mean, because
the weirdest thing.
It's a crazy universe to live in.
It is. Honestly, every time this question comes up, I always think straight back to when I was in preschool, playing on a playground, and I would love bossing the other kids around. I was like, say this line, and so I can say a line and create a little story.
So you were the actor / director.
Yes. Yeah.
And also a bully. No,
it was a kind suggestion. It was a kind suggestion to my friends. It's like, can you say it like this? No, like this. Okay. No, that's not what I said, Mom.
Okay. So you're telling your mom to?
Yeah, no, it was also a great way of therapy because I felt like my parents never listened to me.
Oh boy. All right. Well,
plays were storytelling was a good way for me to escape what I was going through at the time, even though I was a kid. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. I'm not sure if I wanted I'm sorry, parents. So, maybe you may have to address.
Honestly, they don't pay attention to my acting.
All right. Well,
I hate to say it like that, but like it's like they're just like, oh yeah, she does that. Cool.
Well, this is one of the later questions, but let's just go root around to that now, because one of the more important things that some have to deal with in any creative endeavor, I don't want to limit this to acting.
Yeah.
Is the support system within and out of the house. It becomes, and I'm certainly not just gonna say, you, but it becomes important because even with me with whatever creative endeavors, it was a far easier thing for my family to say, just go to the post office, get do the things that we know that you should do because. Trying to
survive. You have a good job to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah, a survival job.
And I'll say that because there are a lot of people that got that.
Yeah.
There are so many people that I know that have gotten that. Coworkers, other people that I've met that have acted.
Thankfully, my mom's route was not doctor. Mm-hmm. So my mom is a barber. Mm-hmm. And she would push me to literally, she kept telling me, do hair, do hair, do hair. She cut hair. You need to cut hair. It'll make money. Everyone needs a haircut. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing she ever really supported. She honestly, they were there, but they never actually asked me what I like to do. They just knew I like to draw and like be by myself. Support system, as far as acting or like in life, it's just.
Well, it kind of intermingles in there.
Honestly, I kept acting completely separate. Mm-hmm. My parents didn't even know I wanted to be an actor.
So at what point did they discover that?
When I graduated Georgia State with focus on theater and like film and TV, they're like, what the hell is this? So they're like, what? I thought you were going for marketing. I was like,
surprise.
So, yeah, surprise. It was like, surprise. So yeah, they didn't know. And then like, honestly, once I got my car, that's when I just kind of, I started actively pursuing it. I literally found the closest acting class I could go to, and I went there and I used going to college as an excuse. I literally went to a community college, and then because they couldn't track me, they're like, okay, she's at school. It's fine. She's at school. She'll be home.
I don't know if this is good advice for you kids out there.
Oh, yeah,
but pursuit of dreams, you have to do it, otherwise you're going to live with regret.
Yeah, but in all honesty, my parents, they're very Asian, and they're like, they want you to do well, they want you to be able to take care of yourself. But my mom specifically wants to make sure that I'm happily married with children by now, which has not happened.
I think that's a term that crosses boundaries, though.
Yeah.
Or a feeling of parents that crosses boundaries. Because, again, I'll use an ex-coworker of mine, for instance, who came out of New York. Mm-hmm. He told me the thing that he was told is simply get a job to survive. He said those were the exact words.
Really?
He said not do better, not prosper or flourish, survive.
Yeah.
So there was never a thought given to him of, hey, you need to do better than me. It was just get something that you can do and survive.
I think it was more similar. Yeah, I think my parents just they see having a family as surviving, and being able to, because because my mom makes good money being a barber.
Yeah.
Funny thing is
make good money being a barber.
Funny thing is, once she stopped telling me that I should be a barber, that when she finally quit talking to me about it, I actually I pursued it. So now I'm a barber, but also I'm pursuing acting. But if she hadn't stopped, when she stopped nagging me, that's when I did it.
All of a sudden it became a good idea?
Yeah, no, because I was honestly, a good friend of mine, my sister basically told me, she's like, she's right, you do need a job to survive. You don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. No. And I was like, dang, you're right. Okay, I'll go back to school for hair. Because I was a teacher for an online program that taught Chinese kids English for like 2 years, and it burnt me out.
Really? I thought wasn't that good money?
It was, but it was like 4 a.m. in the morning.
I was going to ask you.
It was like the time difference is like, because it's like 4 p.m. in Chinatown. So I was like, I burnt out really quickly. And then I just ended up going back to hair school. And now I am still a barber, but I'm also still pursuing acting.
All right. Well, hey, you got to do what is necessary to keep the bills paid, because unfortunately in life, those things do not stop.
No.
It doesn't care what you're going through or what pursuit you have. Those things still pop up in the mail. So
yeah, I'm good now. I'm good. I'm like, actually, because I was financially stable. It made pursuing acting a lot easier. The only thing I would lose is sleep most of the time.
So it took a little pressure off.
Yeah, it did, because then you're not worried about what you're gonna eat or what you're gonna eat or sleep. That's taken care of, so you can fully focus on acting. And I don't really have a social life. Should I be saying that?
I don't know.
I literally just work. And
well, actually, you probably should be saying it, because, again, how many people out there do you know that pursue it part-time? Or
that's actually true.
Hobbyist actor. Weekend warrior actor. That type of thing. Because it gets difficult to say, I'm pursuing this when you haven't put everything into it.
Yeah. But I have made it a healthier relationship with acting, instead of like putting it in the forefront. I would balance it out now.
So how did you accomplish that? How did you accomplish the balance of I'm not going to drive myself I'm not going to curse, up a wall to
honestly a lot of hitting the wall. Yeah. Literally hitting the wall and realizing it's like, I can't keep doing this. Like, because I remember at a certain point, like whenever you're starting out, you will drop everything. It's like, oh, I got an audition. Let me go take that. And then like you do the audition, you're like, I didn't do it right. Crap, I gotta do it again. And then just like keep doing it. And then it's just like the hamster wheel. You're on the hamster wheel of like auditions, and did I do it right? Am I doing this right? I'm like, let me do it again. Let me ask the coach. It's like a lot of overthinking.
At what point did you make peace with the overthinking? Like, okay, I'm not gonna drive myself insane over this.
When I started realizing this is a job, and if I translate it to being a barber, it's like, would you tell everyone that you cut so-and-so's hair? I was like, oh yeah, I just cut his hair. Doesn't look nice. So I'm trying to look at like auditions like this. Like, I just got an audition. Isn't that nice?
God, that's funny. There was a joke that was running around for a while in this city, and I'm sorry, some of you are going to know who you are, where I was a Tyler Perry extra became the badge of honor.
Elaborate.
And it's not a bad thing, but like you said, you don't go around telling them, hey man, I just cut this guy's hair. But being an extra in most things never gets mentioned.
Yeah.
Being a Tyler Perry extra,
really,
for whatever reason, it's somehow, or I was the featured extra.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it became this thing that almost every actor that I came across for a period of 3 to 4 years, I'll say every other actor, I won't say every, that became hey, I was a featured extra on, Tyler Perry such and such. It's like, I'm okay.
I remember doing extra where it's like, extras do not get treated nicely.
I would imagine not.
You're like literally a prop in the background. But I'm like, honestly, I remember when I first started, I did extra work just to see how a legit production looked like. And like it was a great learning experience. It also it also destroyed the story because I remember I think I did one for Vampire Diaries, and I watched the behind the scenes and I was like, this is soul crushing. It's like, I liked it better watching it on TV. I don't like being in the world.
It takes something away from it.
It did. I was like, the magic's gone. It's just gone. I can't find it again. But it was good because I was like, okay, so it's literally the same thing as a student project in a bigger production, and there are more people, and it's more professional because you can get fired.
Well, yeah, you can if you get on their nerves, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Or not delivering the goods.
Or like if you keep looking at camera.
I'm sure you probably have seen that. So somebody who just could not stop looking.
There was this indie that I did. It was so cute because I was working behind the scenes, and this sandwich shop was kind enough to let us film there. And we were filming this shot, and we were doing like a big tracking shot, and like there was this older man, and like he kept looking straight in camera. And he was like, because like we basically asked everyone there, like, would you guys mind being extra and putting a little prop on your hand? It was I don't know why I think in that moment I was like that.
It just was a magnet for his eyes. I
know, it was just like he was like.
That was his scene.
It was his scene. I still remember him, and I was like, he was so cute. We ended up getting him to look away after a point, but I was like, that was
over here, over.
Just like look in this general direction, but everything else. It was great though, because that indie turned out really well.
Wow, man. The experience of that, but yes, that's
yeah, because I remember like I would do I did everything. I did behind the scenes. Whenever I wasn't acting, I loved collaborating with like other people that were writers to like create a story. I remember the 48-hour film festival. I did a bunch of those.
Oh,
those were stressful.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it. Yeah,
I didn't have that kind of energy. I just
it
don't.
does drain you. It does drain.
I mean, because they put me under the pressure of, all right, come up with something based around this pillow.
Oh, and don't forget this line.
Yeah,
say this line.
That has to be in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Damn, you're dirty.
Exactly.
Write that and work something else around. It's like,
Yeah, and then finding your team. But it was a great, like, all those things are great learning experiences.
I'm sure, but see, you're young and vibrant. You can do that, so.
This was when it was like a long time ago. I don't do the 48-hour film. Not since the pandemic. I don't know what happened to it. I don't even know if it's still happening.
That's a good question. Put it in the comments below. Does 48-hour film festival still exist? I don't know. I haven't checked.
It probably does.
We're gonna go into a little bit of your ups, the peaks and valleys here for a second. Well, let me ask this first because let's not bring this down. What do you consider yourself in your acting style to be? Method, natural?
I'm mostly. I feel like it's more natural. I focus more on the story and listening to the other person. I can't really do the method thing because I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to do like a long-term like series or anything like that, but like I think it's more.
Well, even in a
stress. I think I've tried doing the method thing. It's very stressful, and like getting out of it, you're just really depressed. And I was like, I don't think it's not my style. I think it's like other people can do it really well. I just can't. Like when they call cut, I have to break the character. Just like
you don't walk around backstage and say, "Call me Joan."
No, I can't do that.
No, is that? Well, I'm not going to say does it work or not, but is it easy to function around that? I'll leave it. Because some people have different varying degrees of whether they like dealing with that or not. Or whether it's easy to deal. I won't say like.
Honestly, I haven't had that experience I've done it like worked with someone with scene work, but then like it takes them a minute, but they get out of it. But besides that, I haven't really gotten the opportunity. I would love just to watch it though, and just to watch it in the corner and be like, watch someone's like method of how they get into character. I think it's fascinating.
It is. I mean,
it's because like everyone has their. What took me the longest time to realize is everyone has their way of getting into character, no matter who they are. If you try to like, it's like you can try going to. I remember a long time ago I went to a certain school. It was like for I think Strasbourg, and it just wasn't. I stayed there for like a good year, and it still wasn't clicking, and it took me a long time to realize it wasn't my technique. So, a lot of like. You, as an actor, you just go through every school you need to and just pick out little tools that work for you?
Well, now that's, you said it wasn't, you went there for about a year and you just came to terms with this isn't for me. Doesn't mean it was bad.
No, it was a good experience because I learned breathing techniques.
So now if you were going to relate that to somebody that's just getting into it and they're looking for this school and whatnot, I mean, if you were going to, I guess, put a time frame on, it's like, hey, look, if you are not feeling this within X amount of time,
I think usually
check someone else or a different method, different school, different teacher.
I think it's usually like, I'm an overthinker, but then I when I go into a school, I delve right in and I get really, really attached and trying to like make it work. Mm-hmm. But honestly, if you like really reflect, I think it's just one of those things. You just maybe I can't really say because I've stuck to like each school like past a year. I've studied
you went in.
I've went to different schools and I've just stuck in there.
So no one can say that you never.
I like literally I just stuck in there and I was like, I'm gonna learn because like every class I learned something different, but it was like the technique was like the tools they were teaching me were the same, but I was just discovering something different from every time I went there.
Okay, well,
I don't know if that makes any sense.
It makes sense. It does make sense. Here we're going to talk about what I skipped over a second ago. So here's where you get the reality check of the business. Have you encountered bumps in the road starting this career? See, look, you already laughing. Starting this career. I mean, let's kind of shrink this down.
Yeah, you should shrink it down. It's make it more specific.
Okay, so let's try to rephrase that. Once going into, I guess, we'll call it the professional phase of it, because you had your startup. Mm-hmm. You did the indie run, which we talked off camera a bit, and you said if you're here, it probably works to your favor. And when I say here, Atlanta acting community, it works to your favor to do non-union. So now, please elaborate for that first off, so they understand why you suggest that.
Because Georgia is not like, what was it? Local, like not. What is the term for it? It's right to work state.
Yes.
So, SAG productions, all those productions, you have a right to work. They have to hire a certain number of locals here. Mm-hmm. But once you're SAG, you can't do the non-union stuff or the student films, and you want those credits to not the credits specifically. You want the experience to figure out everything you need to know about set. Mm-hmm. Knowing where your mark is or who to talk to or like, I lost my train of thought.
Well, so I mean, what I'm getting from that is you basically want to be able to build yourself to a certain degree before you're tossed into the deep end of the pool.
Because once you get hired for a professional production, if you screw up, it will follow you. Because like it's a big world, but a tight community.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. It's a very tight community. Like especially like if you're late, or if you don't like, if you're like trying, if you're interrupt the production in any way to waste time. That's never good. Don't do that.
Now, the term. Well, I'm not gonna say the term, but one of the things that I use to kind of relate what you're saying. With some people, it would be the equivalent of taking somebody off the street who wanted to play football and dropping them in the NFL.
Yeah, that's correct.
You know, and expecting them to perform. And if you don't, you never get another shot.
No.
Or it'd be very hard for you to even get close to coming back here.
Yeah.
Whereas the proper order of things, yes, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
You play when you're a kid, you play in high school, you maybe play in college, you practice all the time. And then if you're good, we'll move you on through. Something along those lines. And then I would say acting to some degree is similar.
Oh, yeah.
You want to try to get, as you say, as many projects underneath you as you can.
Yeah.
And then you can start to feel what you're good at.
You want to be comfortable. Like, you want to have that, like, you kind of want to show people that you can be trusted on set. Mm. And in order to do that, you got to mess up on sets that are not like paying you. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes, you got to get whatever it is wrong here.
Yeah, you can like work on like a student film. They're more lenient. It's like, oh, you're late. Okay, you got lost. That's fine. Because they're honestly they're probably like trying to catch up on what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So now you have that, and you explain better to do it this way. So the option exists. Now let's set the table for people here. The option exists for you just to jump ahead if you chose to do it.
Yeah, I think there's like if you do 3 different SAG projects as an extra, you can join SAG. And I think that's still the rule. Like that's a possibility, but like that's also kind of shooting yourself in the foot because that means that you'll have to be paying member dues without the benefit. Because if you're SAG and you don't have an agent and you have no credits, you can't work any non-union projects either because you're SAG.
So it's just the catch-22 is like you want to be SAG, but getting there too soon.
Yeah, you want to be SAG at the right time.
And there lies the I guess the riddle of life in acting is that your right time is your right time.
I have friends that are are SAG eligible. They've done numerous projects. They haven't joined SAG yet. And they don't want to.
I was going to ask.
They don't need to.
So that
way they can still work on non-union films because SAG projects are hard to book.
Well, yeah. Okay, now, but when you're booking a SAG, now, are you booking that directly? Now, that's a part that, so when you are a part of SAG, is it dependent on you or you have to have your representation book this for you?
The representation is the people that give you the audition and the casting director just sends it off to the producers and they're the ones that book you. So technically the producers are hiring you, but they have like middle people to take care of everything.
Okay, so
like SAG Productions, like there are like you can use Actors Access. Sometimes casting directors do like put breakdowns for like films they're working on. If they can't find anyone that in an agency, they just like do an open casting call, and if you get an audition, that's a big win.
Okay, how maybe I don't want to use the word stressful, to deal with the open casting call because everybody they haven't had the opportunity to do that. I mean, because especially in these last couple of years, there have been auditions that just take place in their house. They haven't had to walk into a casting call. They could just get in front of a camera and send it in that way.
I mean, honestly, that's been the most convenient thing for me.
I can imagine. All you got to do is wake up.
Because I remember when I first signed, like when I first got my first agent, it was like 2015, 14, and they were just starting self-tapes. And like all of my projects that I booked were from self-tapes. I went straight I didn't have to do a callback or anything. It just went straight through.
Well.
So I didn't have to, I think, I do remember my first time being in person. I was so green. I blew that audition so bad. That casting director never called me back in. So,
are you willing to talk about that? What happened? Elaborate.
So I think I was in my first agency, and it was like I think it was at a Screen Gym or one of those. I'm pretty sure it was Screen Gym. I don't remember the show, but I remember I got called in to play like a co-star, and I was so green. I didn't know how to do a script analysis. Okay. I didn't know how to like. Literally, I was so nervous when I went in there. She was like, "Oh, she was so mad."
Mad.
She was. I could just already tell she was frustrated. She's like, "Okay, can you one more time? Because I messed up." And I was like, "I'm so sorry. I did the thing you're not supposed to do." And like, I apologized and then tried to restart it again. So we did it like 3 times, and she's like, "Okay, thank you." And I remember leaving, and I was like, "Well, that didn't go well."
Well, it's good to be able to laugh at it now.
Yeah, but what I wish, because I think.
Darn you, casting director!
No, it was like it was more like this. Like I don't think I was ever prepared to do a audition like that. I think I think I've done it numerous times, but it was like, some of the casting calls are like, oh yeah, you're gonna go in front of a group, 1, 2, 3. It's different when you're in the room. I also remember being the second person, so I heard the first person through the door, and they were messing up their lines, and I was like, oh snap.
Giving you
giving me the confidence, and I was like, oh, so good. I kept forgetting my lines too, and I was like, it was a one-liner. I was like, what's wrong with me? the memories are popping back in.
They're all flooding in now.
They're all flooding in now, and I was like, man.
There's one line that I had to say.
It's funny because right after, I think I remember right after I messed up, I went home and I was like, I kept saying the line perfectly, and I was like, wait.
You had a George Costanza moment.
Yeah, I was like, why?
I thought it was a perfect comeback once I left. It's Jerk Store.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was actually really happy when everything turned to self-tapes. But then it also was like, I think in the beginning I would just keep doing the self-tapes over and over again because I was still trying to adjust the lighting correctly. And that was a whole different... doing a setup and camera, I was like, oh my gosh.
It is a skill. It's a technique to doing all that.
It's another skill that actors have to learn now.
Which is unfortunate that you have to learn how to do rudimentary cinematography and lighting.
Oh yeah,
and audio.
Yeah.
Because if the audio sucks.
Honestly, the best thing about the pandemic was casting directors let you have the person and they can just Skype in. And I was like, yes.
Oh, well, see, look.
Because I would always have someone to come in and I felt bad for that person because they would have to drive up and just tape the audition. But then sometimes we trade off and they had theirs and I was like, okay.
Sit in the background and read for you.
Yeah, and then I would do the same for them.
Yes.
Oh, also being a reader is awesome. That is one of the best ways to really get better as an actor. That was great.
Now let's go. I need to be a reader. We got to talk about that for a second. But now the advice when you're walking into the audition, you said you didn't know script analysis and what.
Yeah, I don't know how. I was like,
So explain what you're talking about. So
honestly, it just got to the point where I was so excited about the audition, I totally forgot about the story.
Well, no, I mean explaining what script analysis is.
Script analysis is basically breaking down the scene and finding the conflict and what the story. For me, it's looking at the scene and realizing what my character plays to move the story along.
Okay.
Because it's Atlanta, it's co-star, so you're not going to have a big major part. You just need to be oh, here's your coffee, sir. I'll be over here.
And
scene. Yeah, honestly, it's pretty much that. You got people who haven't had the experience. Yeah. I know you're at a stage now where you've done it enough to where it's almost you're not thinking about that any longer. But for somebody else out there, this is how do you do that? I've never been inside of this thing. So that's all, I'm trying to make sure that you explain that. Honestly, for my, because for me, there's different ways to do script analysis. For me, I realized writing something down and my thoughts and opinions of what's happening in the story got me in my head so badly that it just put me in a mode of overthinking, and I kept overthinking about everything. But other people, it just, there's different forms of script analysis.
I'm sure. But we'll take what you have with that example. I also want to ask, you said that you did something that I guess was, we'll call it an unwritten rule. You apologized.
Yeah, you don't want to stop the scene and try to, I'm so sorry, I messed up the line. Can we try again?
So now, will we consider that an unwritten rule of auditioning?
Don't do that.
Don't apologize.
Don't apologize, because then that's also you're undermining your own. I was I'm not worthy to be here because I have to apologize because I messed up. So the best thing you can do is just keep going.
Okay.
And I remember someone I've watched numerous people talk about this. It's just don't do it. A lot of casting directors. I will also listen to a lot of casting directors, and they have great information for SAG on YouTube. I love listening to those because there's a bunch of them from casting directors. They'll tell you don't do that. There's like, but there's other casting directors that are like, okay, that's fine, you can do it again. But other times it's just like, know your casting director, know who you're auditioning for, know if they don't like buttons at the end of like their scene.
You think that doing this for a lengthy period of time also works again? Well, not. Let me.
Yeah,
not say
it
that.
is. It's like
when they're, let's say casting starts at, I don't know, 7 a.m. Mm-hmm. Your audition's at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
At that point, you're like, okay, they're probably worn out and tired and seen this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You know.
The most. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've been in an in-person audition, so that's such a far memory. I think I remember I was like, do I remember that?
Well, look, in the brief time that I've done it, there are two things that I got an appreciation for on that side of the table. Mm-hmm. One, people who know their strengths when they walk in the door. Because I've had like 2 or 3, especially over the video, where they just, it's like they just started acting yesterday. And and you don't want to be mean.
Yeah.
But it's like, whew,
honestly,
should you be doing this? And the second one is after the 10th or 20th or 30th one, I mean, whatever your threshold is, now you're just waiting on somebody to wow you.
Yeah.
Like, when everybody is all a carbon copy of the same, of the last person, and the last person, and the last person, when you see somebody that does anything different, it's like, huh?
it makes a difference. I think like I remember watching an interview with one actor that basically said like, it was like for a series regular, but they gave him one line. Mm. Just one line to like kind of cut out all the like the fluff, pretty much. Mm. If you can't make it original, then they wouldn't just call you in. And I think this actress like did a different choice, and they called it back in.
The example that I use is Married with Children.
Oh, really?
Ed O'Neill. Because when people read the script for Married with Children for Al Bundy's character, the writers was like, everybody read it like Ralph Cramden, like abusive or loud and yelling and stuff like that. He said, Ed won us before he said a word, because when he got to the door, he slumped down. And it's like they knew right then, it's like he understands because the character's defeated. His one thing, just his body language, changed that whole thing, because they knew right then he understands who Al Bundy is.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. Lesson learned, kids. So I can pay attention to some of that stuff too. The bumps, the peaks, the valleys. We're talking about those, and
I think the biggest ones was like when I was first starting out, auditions would not come, so they would be like months and months at a time. So when you did get them, that's why like most actors are super, super excited, because when you're beginning, you don't really get them. So when you do, you're like, you treasure it.
Does that alter your idea of what you should be going for? I mean, when they're so spread out like that, does it change what you would have normally auditioned for? Say, hey, I'm girl killed number 4 in this slasher movie. You know, when you might not have done it originally, but you're just so hungry for a role.
Yeah, no, that's the beginning of actors. Like, like this is like any role. I was like, I'll take. I remember like I would audition for anything and everything. If they gave me the opportunity, I was like, I'll do it. Yeah, you want me to kill somebody? I was like, yeah, I can play a serial killer. I can totally do that. I can play a cop. I can play a journalist.
Sure, I can.
Yeah, I can do all these things. I can give birth. Yeah, pretend I'm giving birth. Yeah. Pregnant woman number 1. I'm like, yeah, that's me. I'll do it.
Absolutely. Of course I know what it's like.
It's like literally like, it's because like you just want to work.
So now that you're past that phase, would you say that you've applied, we don't want to say limitations. Would you say that you understand your strong suit?
I understand.
To,
I understand where I fit better.
Okay.
Like, because like there are certain things that like honestly I've gotten to the point where it's like there's certain things I know I'm not going to book.
Such as, give me an example.
Okay, I never really book the mother type. for some, because I don't give that mother essence. Like,
I was gonna say I don't see you as a mother type right now.
No, like it's like, but I get called
maybe
in
20 years from now. I don't know.
I was like mother or like what was it? Drug addict. I can't never play drug addict. Okay. It's one of those things. Like it just like, knowing who you are, like essence wise, is very important. Honestly, the main thing that changed between before when I was like starting out was I know myself better, and I know when not to waste my time or the casting director's time. And
that's fair. That's fair. And not many people do that.
Because I think like sadly, a lot of actors are like, I want to be the lead. I'm like, but what if you're not a leading man or a woman? You're not a leading woman or man. What if it's just all you can book is supporting? And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not.
I love that. I would love to be supporting the lead just because I love like working with other artists. It's just that's what makes me happy, like collaborating with other actors and like directors, and just that's why I do it, just because the story is awesome and I get to work with like really awesome people. That's why I went all the way to LA to do a co-star, which was pretty much a featured extra. I got to work with an amazing cast.
And some people make a career off of being the friend or the I
play great friend. I play a great friend. It's supporting person's like, you can't count on Yossie, you can't count on much.
What's his name? He played Machete.
Machete. Oh, I know what you're talking about. He has such a certain type, but like, yes, he works all the time.
Exactly.
Because he knows his essence and he knows like what he goes for the villain, but he's like he's like, I feel like he's a big softie.
He was a legit gang member.
Yeah.
I think that's how he got his first role.
Yeah, but
like I said, he has such a unique look.
Yeah.
And once he started, it was a bit role here, a bit role there, background or whatever. But he just kept working until he finally, he
found his niche.
It's like it paid off for him, and then he got his 2 leading roles. He got Machete in 1 and 2.
Yep.
So, but I completely blanked on his name.
I know who you're talking about. His face is popping up, and I know who you're talking about. When you said Machete, I was like, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, him and Luis Guzman. I know he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's almost he's one of those guys I'll turn around, I was like, he's in this? He's just in everything.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he said that was one of the casting things, is that we needed a Luis Guzman type. He's like, well, I'm Luis Guzman, he cast me, and they did.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that's it. Knowing where you fit, knowing your essence, having the confidence to take up the room or take up space.
You have a dream role?
I have a dream director I would want to work with. I would love to I've been watching like a lot of just like BBC stuff. I would love to work with the showrunner for Killing Eve, or like any BBC show, or like AMC. I love the AMC like Walking Dead type, like the first couple seasons of Walking Dead. I love those.
Well, look, I can say the first, because look, it's been on a long time and it's gone through a lot of showrunners.
It has, and I honestly don't have a dream person. It's like, as long as you love what you're doing and that's a great story, I want to work with you.
So no, well, that's dream co-star, right? Or dream director, I guess in your case, he said.
Yeah,
but no dream role, no role pops up like, I really want to play a cop or action hero or the romantic comedy, or I don't know.
Honestly, I would love to play like a bridesmaid type movie. That cracks me up. Like working with an ensemble with that's like strong improv cast of actors. I think that would be so much fun. So, like the people from SNL or Melissa McCartney.
Most of them, well, at least the 2 leads of them were,
yeah. Bridesmaids cracks me up. Kristen Wiig.
So you love Kristen Wiig?
Oh my, no! It's just I just like any actor that's just good, that just loves the work and just loves telling stories. And I do like the comedies, more of the comedies. I'm more drawn to comedy and lightheartedness, just because everything's so dark. The world is so depressing.
Well, yes,
it's so depressing.
It can be very depressing. That is true. But there we go. See, look, we learned. So there might be a director out there right now. It's like, hey, I got a comedy.
I play great comic relief.
Great comic relief.
Just like the ditzy, like, what? No, I didn't. Wait, what? What's going on? I didn't touch any. Yeah.
I think my disembodied voice friend might have something for you. So.
But yeah, it's just I just want to work with good people. I don't really do it for the money. Thankfully, being a barber took care of that. So now I'm like financially stable. I'm like, I don't have to like really work for like.
You don't have to depend on the next job.
Because like honestly, that's another thing. Like they can read that very easily on a self-tape. Yeah. It's like, I need this role. You can read it. And like, no one wants to work with that. In all honesty, no one wants to work with it.
And you also remove the hammer of I'm gonna fire you. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a lovely position to be in, just in life in general. That's a life lesson. When you can remove the hammer of do what I say, or I'm gonna fucking let you go. Sorry.
It's like if you don't agree with the material, you're like, no. I don't feel like because
the scene says topless. Do it.
It's like no, you got to be dressed up in a wiener costume. Do it. I'm like,
No, I don't think I'll be doing that.
No, there's no.
See, it's like you could just politely say decline. Hey, look, no, I don't think I'm ready.
Financial freedom. That's what you need. Financial freedom, like a job that doesn't have to include. Honestly, being a barber, it's long hours. I have to sacrifice a lot of like. I don't really sacrifice. It's not really sacrifice. I like just like doing like scene work and stuff and like working with other people, but like I don't really have a social life. So
well, there are some movie sets out there that need barbers.
Yeah.
Hair done. I'm just saying.
I mean,
that could work. You can do both. Cut some hair. It's like, all right, I'll be on set in a second.
Like, let me just cut your hair real quick. It's like you're it's like a little. Let me just get that really quick.
See, hey, look, I'm just putting it out there in the universe. That's all.
But it's good. It's good.
You paid a fare. She'll get you there. That's all I'm saying.
It's good though, but yeah.
Do you find it easy to deal with criticism?
I honestly stay away from it.
How do you stay away from it?
Wait. Let me rephrase that. Like, I don't see it like give me an example.
Hey, this scene that you was in, do you have to smile so much?
Oh, like,
now that's not necessarily constructive. I'm giving you just criticism opposed to constructive criticism.
Oh, if it's like, I don't know, because like usually, I mean,
look, the online could be a very critiquey place.
Oh, online, yeah, I don't really like to post stuff on things that I've done or. Like,
why?
I don't know. For some reason, I like to do the project.
Come on, Yossie.
And like let it go.
You have to post these things.
I remember I used to do that. I used to post like whenever I would book something, and I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to play that game. Honestly, I have so much. I would prefer like.
I mean, just show the scene. You can just let the scene speak for itself. Just post a clip like boom, or a reel. Oh,
I have a reel. I don't post it just because I'm like. It makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's like, look at me. Look at the stuff. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why.
Well, everybody, now that's hard. It's easy for me to say that because I don't like, necessarily, doing that type of stuff on camera.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with being in front of a camera, but.
I mean, I don't really. I think it's like one of those, if it's like, for example, if it was a director, like, trying to give me criticism,
if the director did it, without being an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, like.
This scene is serious. Stop fucking smiling.
I was like, okay, you want me? It's different when it comes to criticism with the other people. I'm like,
yeah, that was.
I kind of like. I'm like, I kind of try to ignore it. To be honest, but then I also try not to take a compliment just because it's uncomfortable. I don't like being in the spotlight. It's so weird. Like,
what?
I don't know. It's weird.
That is like a complete paradox, contradictory.
It's like, I
but I don't like being in the spotlight. Well, I mean, hey, it happens.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't want it to like. I want to be invisible. In a sense.
You've answered a random question, so you can't use invisible.
Okay.
What are things that you would see in a script that make it an instant yes or instant no? You get the script, they give it to you, you read it, it's like, yeah, I'm in,
it depends. If it's the first page. If
no.
If it's a director, yes. Like the director I want to work with, or like I see this work, it's like, oh yeah, I want to definitely work with that. Script, if there's grammar errors, it's not formatted right, I'm like, red flag.
Okay.
Red flag. Pretty much, like it's a standard. If it's a good story, then I definitely want it. But if it's like one of those stories that's like kind of dark or...
Now I have to ask. Grammar and typos in the script. This has to be a past experience, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
you don't have to name no names.
No, but it's like when you're starting out, because like, so right now I'm trying to like work on more like meatier material. Mm-hmm. So I reach out to like people that are doing SAG productions that like offer that, but they're mostly indies. Mm-hmm. Some indies are great, and then other ones you're like, maybe not. So, so when you submit yourself, you're like, okay, cool. And then when you get the script, I'm like, it's not really
not my cup of tea.
Yeah. It's not like fun or something I would want to work. Honestly, I kind of try to stay away from not that I won't do it, but like if it's anything like night shoots, I'm like, I hate night shoots. But
I have to stay up all night for this.
I actually remember my first official SAG production I booked was a night shoot, and I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, wonder why the call time's so late. Guess we'll be done really early. And we didn't finish till like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was like, my dumb ass drove all the way back home. I was filming in Charlotte.
Ooh.
No, Wilmington. And I was like, it's fine. I'm just going to go straight home.
No.
I literally almost died 3 times. I had to break and take a nap. Yeah.
Okay, so good example for you out there. Let's not book jobs that you don't that you're not going to be awake enough to drive home.
I mean, technically they did provide a hotel, but I was just being like,
I can make it.
Not smart, and just like, just go, Yossie. You got a hair appointment at 11. You can make it.
Yeah, probably not the best thing.
No, but that was a learning experience. Never do that again.
So much, yes. I'm glad you're here to talk about it.
Sometimes I don't know how I survive the things that I've survived.
You're driving in North Carolina, then all of a sudden, how did I get here?
I remember it was like pitch black at night, and like I had to stop at a truck stop because I had to use the bathroom, and I was like, I was scaring myself with like these terrible, scary stories, and I'm like, oh, God. Just go. I was in and out in like under a minute. I was like, oh, go.
You had every horrible.
I did. I kept thinking like
truck stop story run into your mind.
I really did. I was like, oh my gosh, just go.
You sure is pretty.
Can you? I made sure everything. I looked twice. I was like, I saw a truck, and I was like, oh, I think they're sleeping.
Hey there, young lady.
No, I wouldn't give him a chance. I was running.
That's terrible. Okay. You know, I'm certainly going to have you back so you can talk about the meat of the ups and downs and some of the brick walls. As
you gotta you have to be more specific because
I know. That's why I say
everything's such a blur to me sometimes.
I will be specific. I may have to, sit down and really get the stuff out. But I want to thank the lovely and talented Yossie for showing up with us today. I am going to make it a point to try to get you back so that you can give all the information that we kind of rooted around earlier. And be sure to...
Where can they find her?
Oh, yeah. Thanks, disembodied voice. Where can we find you?
Here? No. Oh, on social media. On Instagram.
Work with me, Yossie.
Just Instagram. I think it's yos.mu.
I don't know. Am I supposed to say that? Graphic.
Yeah, just say the graphic because I'm like that was a question I was not expecting.
Always be prepared for your social media where people can find you.
I'm not very good at social media. But if you do follow me, I will be. I like share a lot of dog videos and happy videos.
Which is why her role of Dynasty was not that big of a stretch. And I'm not even sure we talked about Dynasty.
We did not, but yeah.
So it's in her reel on her social media. So look up her name and it will take you to her YouTube. I will advertise this for you. It is there. Her demo reel is there. You can see her acting. And I may be in possession of a unique fight scene with Yossie and one Alicia Schultz, which I will still stand by to this day. She didn't think it's good. I think it's perfectly fine. So she's laughing. She doesn't even. This is what happens when you work with people that you know. When you get people that you know. She's just tripping all the way. She's tripping balls. It's all right. So on that note, yeah, that's right. I'm embarrassing.
Oh my God.
On that note.
Well, how long ago was that, though?
I'm trying to close.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We're going now.
This has been Tales from the Grip podcast. Thank you, Yossie, for showing up. And remember, if you're going to make yourself a movie, then you need to get a grip. And I need to get one right now. So long, folks. This episode of Tales from the Grip is brought to you by the Colonel Goes Popcorn, which you can find at The Colonel, spelled like you do the Colonel, not the military rank, but Colonel of Corn, Kernel. Yeah, my spelling's bad sometimes. But anyway, don't worry about my spelling. Worry about what flavors you can get when you go to the Colonel Goes Popcorn. Kettle corn, gourmet style, brought to you out of Atlanta, ships anywhere. You can get stuff like yellow cheddar, strawberry banana, which I never thought would have been a flavor, but it is. It's true. It works. Cheddar sriracha, which I had, which is delicious. My kids actually ate it up before I could finish it all. Cajun caramel, cheddar sriracha caramel, Parmesan garlic, which I also had, and I found that in my son's trash can when the empty bag. He tore right through it. Just didn't. I'm glad I had the chance to taste some of it before I left out of this building. Anyway, the point being is that if you're going to sit there and you're going to have some popcorn, you might as well go gourmet, go all the way. And if you're going to go gourmet, go for the Colonel Goes Pop. Remember, the Colonel Goes Pop is the website. Goes everywhere. Just because you're not in Atlanta does not mean that you can't get it. Ships out to you. And you can enjoy this just like you would any other movie night. Grab yourself a soda, get yourself a gourmet popcorn, and support him and the show with the Colonel Goes Pop. And now, on to the podcast.
You're listening to the Tales from the Grip podcast. If you're going to make a movie, then you need to get a grip.